Well, hello again, it's Trudy here from Hot Patterns with a gorgeous tutorial for you, but this is not our normal tutorial. You know, our normal tutorials, we take a pattern, show you how to make it, all good. This is slightly different. This is really kind of taking a t-shirt and making it into a better t-shirt, showing you how to do that. So really a t-shirt recon. And we're going to use a pattern that kind of is ours and it isn't ours. This is the pattern we're going to use. This is the Mimi G Love to Love You tee, and we worked with Mimi G to do a little collection, and of course her look is quite different to our look, which is great. It's always nice to have an extra kind of zhuzh of sort of designery takes on things. And I really like this t-shirt and I thought it would be perfect for a recon. And I'll show you why shortly. And actually when I was going to do this, I'm going to do this recon, Jeremy said, oh, we should film it, it's such a good idea. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so this is our t-shirt pattern, and I will show you the pattern shortly. But the reason it works, and the reason it works much better than a normal t-shirt pattern for a recon, when you want to take an old t-shirt, make it a new t-shirt, is this. It has a special feature. It has a little insert here at the shoulder, which sounds really random, I know, but what happens is, when you've got this, the whole t-shirt that you're cutting out drops down. So assuming you've got a print on the front that you want to use, it kind of centres it much, much better. So if you want to do a recon t-shirt, if you've got an old vintage t-shirt, or you've lucked out at Goodwill and you've got something that's really groovy, this is a really good pattern to use. I'm going to do a few fiddly things and show you how to do them, but they're really easy and they'll make it a very kind of cool, sporty look. So that's what the pattern looks like. Very nice. I will show you the pattern bits now, which I've kind of altered, you know, to my specifications. We've got our neckband, kind of standard, and I've used this to cut other bands, which I'll show you shortly. We've got our shoulder insert, that kind of goes there. We've got our sleeve, which I've shortened a little because I don't want it too long on me, but I'm doing a full length sleeve. And then we have our back and our front. Now the back, I just cut it, the back. You can see I've marked on here +1 inch. I decided not to +1 inch, so ignore that. But I've blended my sizes. I've gone from one size out to another size at the bottom. Perfectly usual thing to do. And on the front, that's the front, on the fold there. On the front, you will see I've drawn a line here and a line here. And I'll show you what that is shortly, because I'm deciding to put a little band of it down the side here. It's a technique called framing. You're kind of framing the front panel here. Good way to make you look skinnier, that's all I can say. And you'll probably notice as well, with this one, the hem is not a straight hem. It's a high-low hem, so higher at the front, lower at the back. Nice interest. So that's our pattern pieces, pretty much as they are out of the envelope. Obviously tweaked to my specifications, but really just they are what they are. I'm going to quickly go through with you now the pieces I'm using. I will show you first the t-shirt I'm using to recon, which is this one. Kind of nice t-shirt, kind of terrible quality fabric. And also, I mean, I was given this a while ago because my girlfriend saw it and she said, oh, I thought you really like this. And she's right, I love it. But the shape of it is a disaster. It's like a big box. It's awful. It looks terrible. So I thought what I'd like to do is use the front of it and put it in a much better fitting t-shirt. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what we're going to cut the front out of. And the rest of it is in this classic heathered grey t-shirting, which I love, love, love. And it's a nice way to kind of knock back a very kind of vivid print. This is a very classic, very kind of low-key t-shirting. So we've got our backs cut, no problem there. We've got our neckbands cut. Oh, this is the side panel I'll show you shortly. This is our neckband cut. Sleeves, obviously. Shoulder insert. And then here are the other little fiddly bits. I decided to do some inserts, some yellow inserts. I've got some yellow knit as well. I'm going to do a band at the bottom of grey t-shirting, like a knit rib band, and I'm going to insert a little one of yellow. I'm going to do the same at the shoulder here. So it's going to take it from kind of a standard t-shirt, doesn't fit very well, doesn't look very gorgeous, into something that's very cool and very sporty. I'm going to show you how you can do the same. So I'm going to just talk you through now this kind of framing business. What it's going to be is I'm going to end up with a panel down the side front here of the heathered grey t-shirting. It's going to frame the print on the front of the t-shirt really nicely. It's a very good trick to learn, and it's a very easy trick to learn here. So what you want to do is decide how wide you want it. And I've done this. I think it's going to end up sewn about 2 inches thick. That's how it's going to be when it's done. You decide. I've drawn in my seam allowance down the side here. Then I've drawn in how much I want. And then all I did was I traced off the outside edge here, like that. Measured off how much I wanted, sort of parallel to that, and cut it so I've got an even strip. And when I place this, I'm going to show you how to place it on the print in a moment. When I place it on here, I'll also show you how you can measure off and just remove that excess strip outside. Alright, so now I'm going to lay out my pattern piece onto my print, and I can kind of roughly do it, just kind of eyeball it a little bit here, and that's kind of going to work-ish. But what I will really do is fold this in half so I can get the fold on there properly. And you can see it's just such a horrible shaped t-shirt. Boxy t-shirts are really good if they're very, very oversized, because then you wear them with something that's very skinny on the bottom and you get a really good look. If you wear a boxy t-shirt just that's like a box there, you will look like a box. Something best avoided, I find. So, let's just flip this over. Okay, so I've folded it in half, and I'm going to place my pattern piece, and I can see quite clearly that my pattern piece is going to come right over the edge of the print. I actually don't mind that. I really don't. I don't mind the fact that it's going to go into the neckline and the hemline. It's not a problem for me at all. So I'm going to plop it on there, and I'm going to, normally I just draw around it, because I'm doing it on camera, I should really pin it. I should really do that. So I'm going to do that. And then obviously I'm just going to cut it out. And you can see this doesn't come quite to the edge of the fabric. It doesn't really matter, because of course we're putting our panel in at the side, so we don't care about that. Okay, just snippety snip. These scissors for probably, I'm going to say 20 years. I haven't sharpened once. They're great. This is what happens. These are Kai gingers from Japan. They're really good. Shows what happens when you buy good quality stuff. They are there with you forever. I also cut through about 15 layers of t-shirt at once. Okay, so I've kind of cut out my front piece now, and now I want to remove this part. Here's the easiest way to do it. Flip it over like this, and you will see the t-shirt doesn't quite come up to the end of the t-shirt anyway, so you know I have to do this if I wanted to or not. Lucky for me I do. And then plop on, to match the pattern, your extra frame piece. Now what you're going to do is put a line of pins in along here, and another line in that's twice your seam allowance. That's it, and then cut along that bigger line. My seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch, so I'm going to give it 3/4 of an inch, so that's twice that. So that's what I'm going to do now. So let me put in a little line of pins, very quickly. You don't have to be too precise with this, but you know, precise enough, because you're going to be wearing it. Okay, take that away. You see you've got a rough line here, and then just do it, I'm going to eyeball it, because that's how I do it. About 3/4 of an inch away from this line, and that's going to be your cut line. So yeah, just 3/4 of an inch along here. I'm just going to hold this up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. That's my line from my framing piece, and that's my 3/4 of an inch in there. That's what I'm going to cut along. So I'm going to cut along it now, and then you'll see what I mean. So now I've cut my side panels, and I've cut off the excess on the side of the t-shirt. And of course, now I've got this very flimsy, thin t-shirt to work with, but that's okay, because that's really just the front panel. The rest of it is a really nice, actually this is Laguna by Robert Kaufman, and I use it a lot. It's a 4-way stretch cotton lycra, and it's got this lovely heathered grey thing, which is a really nice one, but don't buy it all, please, because I'd like some. So what I've done is I've pinned on the side framing pieces, and when they're done, they will look kind of like this. So you see what I mean? You've framed it. And I'm also doing these shoulder inserts at the same time. I want to show you, this is what I plan to do. I plan to have this with a little piece of yellow inserted. So all I've done for that, this is how you do it. I've used the neckband pattern piece just to get the same width, and I've cut it and it comes out like that. I've cut it a bit longer than this, because better too long than too short, that's my motto. And just plopped it on there like this. The nice thing with this is you just press it, it'll kind of stay there. And then you line it up with your shoulder insert piece. Now, I'm going to be constructing this, hopefully all of it, with my trusty 4-thread overlocker, or as you crazy American kids like to call it, a serger, because it cleans the edge and sews at the same time. I may do a little bit of straight stitching too, who the heck knows. But that's what I'm going to do now. Put the frames on and put these bits on. And I'm going to press the front and show you, and all of a sudden you'll start seeing, oh, that's a really cool t-shirt look. So yeah, front is now all together, and you can see we've got our framing pieces at the side, got our shoulder inserts, got a little bit of yellow inserted in there, and it's already a whole lot more interesting than kind of a standard, you know, print front t-shirt. And it's also going to look a whole lot better as well. So now what we have to do is really continue with a basic t-shirt construction, which I'll quickly talk through with you, but then I want to show you one final thing that I'm going to do to finish the hem off that'll kind of pull it all together and make it look really good. So you've got your front, and you also have, with this one, you have a pair of backs. And I know when I was working with Mimi G on her collection, I was saying to her, we need to have a centre back seam on your t-shirt. And she said, why? And I said, well, if you think about it, if you look at somebody in profile, they go shoulder, and then they go out over the shoulder blades, and they go in at the waist and out over the bottom. That's how a body is. A body is not straight up and down, unless you're a cardboard person, which I doubt. So this has got a centre back seam. I think you can see it's quite shaped. It is quite shaped. So you're going to seam that together, and then once that is done, you will be joining it at the shoulders here. Now what I like to do is, once I've joined it at the shoulders, then I do the neckline, but you don't have to. You can join it at the shoulders and then join your sleeves through the armholes and then do the neckline. It's really up to you. But I'm going to put the backs together, put them together like this. I'm going to show you how I can do the neckline binding really quickly and really easily. So now I'm at the stage where I'm going to attach my neckband, and you may well have seen our other t-shirt videos or knit top videos and know how to do this, but there again you may not, so I'm going to show you. You always start with your neckband like this as a loop, as a double thickness loop, and then it's folded in half like that. So you've got your folded edge and your raw edge, and obviously your raw edge is what you're going to sew on. And you can see on here, or you may be able to see, I've got some pins in it. And what you do is this, there's your seam, so that's going to go with the centre back, and I've got a notch in the middle for centre front, and then I've folded it in half again to get quarters. I've done the same thing with the neckline here. I've got a notch at the centre front, I've got my seam at the centre back, so I can match it with that, and then I've measured off and I've done half, and you can see your half is never really on your shoulder seam, it's always a bit forward of your shoulder seam, it's just how it works. So I've got my neckline quartered up and I've got my neckband quartered up, and I'm just going to obviously pin one to the other. And the trick with this is that you're just going to kind of ease it on, because it's not going to fit perfectly. This is smaller than that. A good rule of thumb is, if you're cutting a rib for a neckline, is your rib needs to be approximately 2 inches smaller than your neckline, roughly. Depends on your knit, of course, but it's one of those trial and error things. So I'm going to pin this on, and then it's going to get sewn on in one pass all the way around. So I'm going to pin it, I'm going to sew it, I'm going to press it, you're going to see it. So you can see I've pinned it on like this, and you can also see that it's sitting up like that. That's kind of as it should be, because this of course is smaller than that. So when we sew it, see that excess you got there, you're going to pull gently on the neckband to make sure it all goes nice and flat. And then of course when you press it, you're going to press your seam allowances down inside the garment like that. So I'm going to sew it on in one pass with the 4-thread overlocker, and then you will see what I mean. I'll show you before I press it. Okay, so I just put on the neckband in one pass like that. That's what it looks like on the inside. I don't think you can see it against the white, the overlocking on there. And you can see, before I press it, it looks kind of a bit, well, not very nice really. So now I'm going to go and press it on the wrong side, but pushing the seam allowances into the body of the garment, and then I'll show you what it looks like. It'll be much, much nicer. So I'm kind of at the almost finished stage. This is where it gets really, really easy. I've done the front, obviously put that together, neckband on, and now what I have to do is put my sleeves in at the armhole, so it's on the flat, and then do the side seams. Now when I do the side seams, what I normally do is I start at the armhole and sew down to the hem, then start at the armhole and down to the hem of the sleeves. It just gives a better kind of tension on your garment. You don't have to, but honestly it's a really quick and easy thing to do. And then we're going to come back and we're going to decide what we're going to do at the hem area, because that's going to tie it all together. So now you can see I'm almost at the finished stage. We've got our sleeves on, side seams joined, and now I'm going to complete the hem band, and I'm actually going to do the sleeve hems as well. And now this is the high-low hem, so it's higher at the front, lower at the back, that's what it is. And having tried this on, I love the high-low length, I think it looks really good, but with the hemband I want to do, I think the differential, here's your differential between the front and the back, is a bit too much. So I'm going to take off the depth of the hemband that I'm going to use on the back and do that off to nothing here. I'm going to show you how that's done. This is the kind of thing that when you get a little bit more comfortable with, you know, sewing and kind of cutting things out, you do without kind of guessing it. You just do it. It's just done, you know. But I know when you first start off, it's a bit like, oh, what will happen? Nothing bad will happen, I promise. It'll all be okay. At the end of the day, it's just a t-shirt. You know, you can always kind of chop into it and do things that you want with it. So I'm going to say about there. And I'm going to just do that off to there. Kind of like that. So now when I add the, I'll show you how it looks now. When I add the hemband I've done is relatively deep for that. So the differential's still there, but it's not as excessive. So we still got a high-low hem, but not quite as much. Because I know when I tried it on, if I'd added a hemband to the low bit at the back, it would have gone just under my bottom, which is not quite what I'm looking for. So that's me trimmed off on there, and now I'm going to show you the hemband I'm going to use. I've created it in the same way that I would the neckband, as in make a loop, press it in half, but I've done a double layered one with a little bit of yellow. So of course when this is sewn on, you're going to get, I'm going to put that down. You're going to get that kind of effect, which would be really nice. It's quite a cool touch.
I can actually see it.
Oh, you can't? Can I pull it backwards for you? Okay. Can you see that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So it's going to look like that when it's done, which I think is quite a cool kind of sporty look. And it also gives you an extra kind of, almost 2 inches in length at the front, which is quite good. Especially if you're like me and you've got a bigger tummy, it's going to kind of pull up a little bit. So an extra length at the front is good. So I'm going to do that on the hem. On the sleeves, I'm still humming and hawing about this. In the pattern, it just has you kind of turn them up, and that's fine, that looks perfectly lovely. For this one, maybe I'll turn them up, maybe I'll just do a double hemband like this, but without the yellow, just grey, and do that because I always want my sleeves kind of scrunched up anyway, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put this on the same way I did the neckline, all the way around, one pass, and then press the seam allowances up into the body, and then I'll do whatever it is I'm going to do with these, and you'll be able to see it. So there we have it, t-shirt recon is done. Want to go through all the pieces? Of course you do. Okay, so don't forget we did our insert here of our yellow or contrast knit, and we also did the same thing on the bottom rib here, just layering it up like that. We've kept the neckband one colour, and I've actually done the sleeve bands the same thing. I decided to do sleeve bands on the ends just because to have just like a normal hem, you've got band here, it just looks stupid, so it's the same one. And I've left them quite loose because, as I said before, I like to have my sleeves scrunched up a lot. Don't forget we've slightly trimmed off the back hem here just because it's now a nice length without it cupping your bottom, which you don't really want to do. And that's pretty much it. So my point to you is this: if you have a t-shirt, or you find a really cool t-shirt and you kind of, yeah, you know, it looks great, it doesn't fit me, or it's the wrong colour or whatever, you can still use the printy part of it, really easy to do. And the t-shirt pattern we use, the Mimi G Love to Love You tee, is really good for it because it's got these shoulder inserts. And while it sounds like I'm making a big deal about them, I should, because those enable your whole print to drop down and be centered up on you. It gives you a lot more t-shirt to play with. So that is it. One gorgeous t-shirt recon later. Thank you for watching. So I wanted to show you the t-shirt on me for a number of reasons. Really to show you how it looks on a person. I'm not going to say a real person, because unless you're actually an android, we're all real people. But different people fit things different ways. And you'll see on the front of the envelope, Mimi G wearing it, looking beautiful. But of course, Mimi G is like, she's about 10 years younger than me, certainly about 100 pounds lighter. And she'll wear it in a different way. So I wanted to show you this to show you that really you don't have to be, you know, the perfect physique to wear stuff like this. It's all good, it's all cool, it's all nice. And the things you can wear it with are the following. This is obviously quite a casual kind of t-shirt, so over jeans is perfect. I've got it with white jeans because I live in Florida and I wear a lot of white jeans. Dark jeans will look good, destroyed jeans will look great as well. But you could also, I mean, that's obviously your casual look. You can dress it up a little more with like more of a tailored jean, like a dark wash tailored jean, and maybe a jacket or a cardigan. And you could actually, if you want to go very kind of fashiony, you could wear it with something like a very tailored pantsuit. Sort of very chic here and then very obnoxious kind of print there, which look really, really good. So lots of options for it, and it really is a lovely t-shirt. It's a nice kind of fitted but not grippy tight t-shirt. You can do lots and lots of things with it, and you know you're going to look good in it.